At roughly the same price point between the low-spec Leapmotor ID.3 and the top-spec Leapmotor LAF, these two compact electric hatchbacks raise the question of which one to choose. From a pricing perspective, the Leapmotor LAF is overall cheaper than the ID.3 because its top-spec discounted version is $168,000, while the entry-level ID.3 already costs $190,000, so the price gap is still quite significant. However, since a car enthusiast asked about it, we will follow the principle of not being afraid of unfamiliar products, but fearing no comparison, and give the two a comprehensive analysis and comparison to see where they differ. If you want to see the conclusion directly, you can skip to the last 30 seconds. The specific models are the Leapmotor LAF 2026 605 Max version and the Volkswagen ID.3 2026 Smart Pure GShi version. Both cars are positioned as compact vehicles and are 5-door, 5-seat hatchbacks. The Leapmotor LAF has a body length of 4.43 meters and a wheelbase of 2.735 meters, while the ID.3 has a body length of 4.261 meters and a wheelbase of 2.765 meters, so the size difference is very small. In terms of interior seating space, both give me the same impression of not being large, only just sufficient, and I did not feel that one was more spacious than the other. Although the ID.3 looks deeper in the rear, if you compare trunk capacity, the Leapmotor LAF is slightly larger. Looking at the space performance of both cars overall, it can be considered acceptable, basically at the level of a family grocery getter. As for the seats, in terms of comfort, both feel relatively firm with good support but lacking softness. In seat configuration, the ID.3 uses a leather and fabric mix, while the Leapmotor LAF uses faux leather, and in addition, it offers electric adjustment, ventilation, and heating for the front seats, so the Leapmotor LAF has higher seat configuration. In terms of the powertrain, both use a rear-mounted single-motor layout. The Leapmotor LAF has a 160 kilowatt motor with a maximum torque of 240 Newton-meters, can do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6.5 seconds, and has a top speed of 170 kilometers per hour. The ID.3 has a rear-mounted 125 kilowatt motor with a maximum torque of 310 Newton-meters, a 0 to 100 kilometers per hour acceleration of around 8 seconds, and a top speed of 160 kilometers per hour. If you only look at the parameters, the Leapmotor LAF appears to have better power performance, but in actual driving experience, the initial acceleration of the ID.3 feels stronger and quicker. The Leapmotor LAF does not lose out, but its early acceleration feel is not as good as the ID.3's. However, in the later stages, where power reserve matters, the higher-powered Leapmotor LAF has the advantage and is more suitable for highway driving, with a better overall power feel. Personally, purely representing myself, I would vote for the ID.3. Although both are called hot hatchbacks, their styles are different. Regarding the battery packs, both use lithium iron phosphate batteries. The Leapmotor LAF has a 67.1 kilowatt-hour battery supplied by CATL, Chongqing Energy, Guashuan High-Tech, and CRTC, with a CLTC rated range of 605 kilometers and real-world highway range of around 420 kilometers, giving a range achievement rate of about 70%. The ID.3 also uses an LFP battery supplied by CATL with a capacity of 53.6 kilowatt-hours, a CLTC rated range of 451 kilometers, and real-world highway range of around 300 kilometers, with a highway range achievement rate of about 60%. Of course, real-world highway range tests are not very precise and are for reference only. The longer-range car is definitely the Leapmotor LAF. After all, it has more than 10 extra kilowatt-hours of battery, which is hard strength. Both support fast charging, but the Leapmotor LAF charges faster, so in terms of range, battery capacity, and fast charging, the Leapmotor LAF has the advantage. In terms of suspension, the difference between the two is relatively large. Although both use McPherson front suspension with cast iron control arms and have good underbody flatness, at the rear, the Leapmotor LAF uses a 3-link independent suspension, while the ID.3 uses a 5-link independent suspension, and the ID.3 also has aluminum alloy control arms. In terms of chassis materials, although the 2026 ID.3 has some cost-cutting, it is still more aggressive than the Leapmotor LAF. This leads to a difference in driving quality. If you like a solid chassis, good overall integrity, agile handling, and stronger control, the ID.3 performs better. The Leapmotor LAF, although also positioned as a hot hatchback, does not have an advantage in handling feel. Instead, its comfort is better than the ID.3's. From the driving experience of the two cars, one emphasizes handling while the other emphasizes comfort. Personally, I prefer more handling feel. But of course, everyone's understanding of driving is different, and the above impressions are for reference only. At this point, the core comparison between the two cars is complete. As for configuration, there really is no need to compare further, because the top-spec Leapmotor LAF5 has much more than the Volkswagen ID.3, including wider and larger tires, 5 active safety warning functions, lane assist, lane centering, traffic light recognition, front vehicle departure reminder, 360-degree panoramic imaging, transparent chassis, city and highway navigation assisted driving, active closed grille, leather wheel, electric tailgate, and so on. I don't think it's necessary to go into detail because the top-spec Leapmotor LAF5 is much better than the ID.3, especially since it is equipped with LiDAR, so configuration-wise it clearly has the advantage. At this point, the comparison can end. As usual, let's summarize. The advantages of the Leapmotor LAF5 are a larger battery, faster charging, longer range, and lower overall price. The advantages of the Volkswagen ID.3 are better handling, stronger initial acceleration, and better chassis structure and materials. Other aspects, such as space, exterior, interior, and ride comfort, do not differ much, so choosing between them is actually not difficult. First, if you mainly drive in the city and pursue handling feel, the ID.3 is more suitable. If you have long distance needs for the same money, you should definitely choose the Leapmotor LAF5 with its longer range and more advantages. Personally, I suggest you don't need to go for the top-spec LAF5. Choosing the sub-top version is enough and can still save $20,000 compared to the entry-level ID.3. As for the ID.3, I also do not recommend choosing the entry-level version because as a new energy vehicle, its configuration is even lower than a gasoline car, which is indeed a bit unreasonable. Alright, that's the comparison result of the two cars. I have tried my best to be comprehensive, fair, and objective. If there are any inaccuracies, please feel free to supplement and correct them. And if you agree, remember to like and follow.